In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 5 best value cards at each position right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. So going over the top 5 best value point guards, top 5 best value shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and centers as well. If you guys are wondering what I do mean by value card, is going to be for how much MT a card goes for and how well they do play in game. So for example, I think the best value point guard in my team for his price is going to be this out of position Nikola Jokic, and the reason is because he's only about 50,000 MT, and you got Jokic, who still is a top 2 or 3 point guard in my team and gives you about 95% of what this here Nikola Jokic gives you. So for his price and how well he plays in game, he's just amazing. You know, it's kind of like value, like he's just a really good value card, right? You get a lot out of Jokic for his price tag, where a bad value card might be a, you know, invincible Kobe Bryant, who still is a really good point guard, but Kobe goes for what, 2, 3, 400k just because his name is Kobe Bryant, where I think Jokic is a much better point guard in game and is a ton cheaper. Just because somebody is a bad value card doesn't mean they're a bad card, it just means it might not be the best pickup for their price. So like I said, the best value point guard in my team, I do think is Nikola Jokic, a 6'11" point guard, 7'3" wingspan, and we know Jokic is going to give you that elite level defense because of his size and his player model, and then actually still has a top tier jump shot for a point guard with the Eric Pascal base and the Oscar upper on very quick timing. Is such a knockdown release. He's also got the quick drops off one and the front clutches. So like I said, I do think Nikola Jokic easily the best value point guard. At the number 2 spot though, I actually have Myteam Thompson. I think this card is still so good for his price. I mean, the fact that you can get a Myteam Thompson now only for 10 to 15k is super good value. He's 6'7" at the 1, 7-foot wingspan. We know Myteam Thompson is going to be a great defender, 92 block, 98 steal, 97 perimeter, 93 interior defense. He can jump out the gym. He's quick. He's athletic. He's got a great jump shot with the D Rose base, Steph Curry upper on very quick timing. He's got the tray fade, great dribble sigs, and then has those end game dunk packages and also perfect defensive tendencies. So Myteam Thompson just all around a beast for about 10 to 15k. At the number 3 spot, I actually do have the invincible Anthony Edwards. I got to try out this card the past couple of days, and I absolutely love this card. It might just be a preference thing. It might just be like, it probably is just my personal opinion, because I'm not sure if you guys like Ant as much as I do. You guys can let me know what you guys think about this invincible Ant, but for whatever reason, I just was so good with this card. And I just think he's amazing. 6'5" at point guard, 6'9" wingspan, and that's where the my team part of my team really comes in. You get to kind of choose your own opinion, right? Like, I might love Anthony Edwards and you guys might absolutely hate this card, right? I'm just giving you guys my, opinion on these cards. I think his jump shot is so good. I love his dribble sigs, and he has those end game dunk packages where he just goes crazy, perfect defensive tendencies. I just think for his price, he's a really good point guard. I believe he's only about 80k, maybe even a little bit cheaper, 90,000 MT. I do believe is where Anthony Edwards is going for, maybe even cheaper nowadays. At the number 4 spot though is going to be the Dark Matter Luka, still a really good offensive point guard, has a great jump shot and very solid dribble sigs. And then at the number 5 spot, to round out the top 5 best value point guards, I think you got to give it to Ron Artest. Still an absolute beast on defense for a point guard, and he does have a great jump shot and very solid dribble sigs where he can score the ball, create his own shot, but mainly going to be there for his top tier defense. Now going on to the top 5 best value shooting guards, I think at the number 1 spot is going to be the end game Kevin Durant. And I know he's expensive, and he's an expensive value card because he's an end game and he's 6'10" at the 2. He's got a 7'4" wingspan, and the fact that KD is only around 300k, sometimes even a little bit cheaper. Like, if you get him during a market crash, you can easily get this card for 250k or below. And if you picked him up right when that endgame option pack came out, he was only 150k, 200,000 MT. And I think for that price, you get an endgame shooting guard that's most likely going to be a top 3 to 5 shooting guard the rest of the year. Because how do you really make a better endgame shooting guard than Kevin Durant? You kind of can't. He's just perfect at the shooting guard position for an endgame card. So I do think he still has really good value, even though he's fairly expensive on the auction house. At the number 2 spot, I do have invincible Danny Granger, a card that's actually only about 90k. He's been dropping in price, and I think he's so good at shooting guard. He's 6'9" at the 2, 7'1" wingspan, going to be a great defender because of his size and his player model. He's got a really good jump shot with the KPJ base, Kevin Love upper on very quick timing, starting to become one of my favorite jump shots in the game, and does does have really good dribble sigs. The way that I kind of view Danny Granger is just LeBron, invincible LeBron with his defense and size and just like player model, but then with actually a top tier jump shot and really good dribble sigs as well. And I think Danny Granger is one of the best shooting guards in my team. So the fact you can get one of the best shooting guards for only about 85-90k, I think is extremely good value. And then for the number 3 and 4 spot, very similar shooting guards in the Dark Matter Radiant T-Mac and the Dark Matter Tim Thomas. You got both these cards going for about 25k, 30,000 MT, somewhere in that price range, and they're both going to be elite on offense. Still some of the best offensive shooting guards in the game. And then at the number 5 spot, I do have Dark Matter AK, a card that can compete because of his defense against pretty much every other shooting guard in my team. He's 6'9" at the 2, 7 foot wingspan. He's got top tier defensive stats and badges, also tendencies, and he actually does have a very solid jump shot. And AK is only about 15 to 20k, so extremely good value in AK-47. And these are going to be my top 5 best value shooting guards. Now to go on to the top 5 best value small forwards, I still can't believe the card at number 1 is actually a buy now, and that is going to be the Dark Matter Bull. You can actually find this card for under 100,000 MT, only about 90 to 95k. He's still a 7'2" small forward, 7'7" wingspan, such an elite level defender. He's got a great jump shot, great dribble sigs, he can finish at the rim, his tendencies are really good for the block shot and contest shot, and he's just so glitchy of a card that for about 90,000 MT, I think is one of the best, maybe the best value card in the game for his price. At the number 2 spot, I do think is Paolo Banchero. The fact that he's a super cheap endgame, I think you kind of have to have him here in the top 5 just because he's going for like less than 150k, and he's still an endgame card, 6'10" at the small forward position, 7 foot wingspan. And like I said, he's an endgame. He can do everything the same that Kevin Durant can do with his stats, his badges, his tendencies, and his animations are going to be all the same as a card like KD. At the number 3 spot, I do think is going to be Kevin Garnett, just because of his size and his player model and his defense at small forward, and he's going to be super cheap, only about 35k, 6'11" at small forward, 7'2" wingspan. We know his defense is going to be top tier, but then I think underratedly has some pretty good offense with a very solid jump shot, LaMelo Ball base, KG upper on very quick timing, and does have some solid dribble sig. So mainly just going to be on your court for defense and size, and to have a guy that can guard most cards in the game, but also he can still score the ball in the catch and shoot, off the dribble, slash into the basket. He can still pretty much do everything you need from a small forward in my team. And then for the number 4 spot is going to be Galixopo Big Z, just because of his size at that small forward position, and the fact he's only about 20k, 25,000, maybe even 15,000 MT on some days, and he's still going to be a 7'3" small forward, 7'6" wingspan, which is going to be super viable to have so many mismatches on offense and the ability to run so many different lineups in the game, having that tall of a small forward. And then to round out the top 5 best value small forwards, I do think is going to be Dark Matter Karl Malone, just because he's super cheap, under 10k. I think he's only around 5 to 10,000 MT, and he's still such a good all-around small forward. Now to go on to the top 5 best value power forwards, kind of similar situation as a card like Kevin Durant. I do think it's going to be endgame D-Rob for about 300,000 MT. This card might be the second best or the best endgame in my team. He's 7'1" at the 4, 7'5" wingspan, and I don't really see how you get much better than a D-Rob besides height, right? Unless you're a Taco Fall, a Yao Ming at power forward, he's going to be one of the best endgame power forwards just because of that lefty release. This is something that I've noticed. It could just be like a placebo effect or just my imagination, but when I'm using a lefty endgame card, whether it's Bill Russell or D-Rob, I find the jump shot to be a lot more consistent and a lot more easier to green with these endgame jump shots, the KPJ base and the Sadiq Bey upper. I find it a lot easier to time on these lefty releases, like I said, D-Rob and Bill Russell. So I think this card's amazing at power forward. His size is elite, and I do think is the best value power forward. At the number 2 and 3 spot is going to be Victor Wembanyama, his next card, and also going to be the Pink Diamond Taco, because they're very similar at power forward. Both giants, really good defenders. I mean, Victor's 7'5" at the 4, 8-foot wingspan, and Taco Fall 7'6" with an 8'2" wingspan. So I mean, both these cards are giants that can mash, defend, rebound, do all that type of giant stuff. And then at the number 4 spot, I actually do have Invincible Evan Mobley, a card that's only going for like 125, 150k, and this card I think is actually one of the more underrated power forwards in my team, 7 foot at the 4, 7 foot 4 wingspan. I think his defense is top tier, and he's got such a quick jump shot with the Montrose Herald base, Sadiq Bey upper on very quick timing. He can handle the rock, he's got the tray fade, great dunk packages, and also perfect defensive tendencies. And then coming in at the number 5 spot to round out the top 5 best value power forwards, I do think is going to be the Dark Matter 16-bit Kristaps. Still a card that 7 foot 3, 7 foot 6 wingspan can play that power 4 position and is still a top tier stretch 4. And then guys, to go on to the last position, the top 5 best value centers, at the number 1 spot, easily gotta be the Dark Matter Yao Ming, the Titans version. This card is now a buy now. Like, you can find him for I think about 90, 95k, somewhere in that price range, and he's gonna be a 7 foot 6 center, 7 foot 9 wingspan, still has a great jump shot for a Yao Ming card, and we know he's gonna be one of the best mashers and one of the best paint defenders in the game. At the number 2 spot, I do have Victor Wembanyama, a card, like I said, just an absolute giant, a card that's actually got a pretty good jump shot, very mobile for that tall of a center. At the number 3 and 4 spot, very similar center cards in Mark Eden and Ralph Sampson. I think they're pretty much the exact same center card. I just like Mark Eden a little bit more because of his release. And then coming in at the number 5 spot to round out the top 5 best value centers, I do think is going to be the Dark Matter Kristaps. So yeah guys, that's going to be my top 5 best value cards at each position. These are going to be my top 5 best value point guards, top 5 best value shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and centers as well. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would change about my top 5s, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.